So tonight we're going to be doing the Baltimore Ravens schedule prediction. We did the NFC North. Now we're heading to the AFC North. So if you missed those episodes, make sure you go back and check those out. So the Baltimore Ravens start their season on the road in Indianapolis to take on Daniel Jones and the Colts. Last season, everything was looking really good for Indianapolis until Daniel Jones absolutely destroyed his leg. And then their season was derailed from there. Pat, I will start with you. Ravens at the Colts. Who do you like in this matchup and why?
Yeah, I think this is a great game to start with. Obviously, we'll see what the Colts are made of. They just paid Alec Pierce a bag, so we'll see if he can perform. He basically reset the wide receiver market, which is absolutely insane for Alec Pierce, in my opinion. But I think the Ravens, I feel like in prior years they haven't really come out hot, but I think that they'll be excited. I think Lamar's got a lot to prove this year, and I think the Ravens will come out hot at the Colts. We'll still see. I assume Daniel Jones is on pace to play Week 1. Everybody shake their heads if that's true. All right, perfect. So Daniel Jones coming off an injury. I'm the biggest Daniel Jones guy on the pod. You can watch previous clips and know that, but I think he's going to be a little shaky coming back from the injury. So I'll take the Ravens in this matchup.
All right, Pat has Baltimore starting off 1-0. Mason, I'll throw it over to you. Baltimore at Indianapolis. Who do you like?
Yeah, I think Pat touched on it a little bit here. I was not even sure if Daniel Jones was going to be starting the season. So given that and whether or not he will start and whether or not he will be in prime form to start the season, which I doubt, I'm going to go with the Ravens here. Just think the Ravens are probably a better team. I know the Colts last year got off to that hot start. But it just feels like they're probably going to take a step back, especially depending on the health and how Daniel Jones bounces back this year. I think the Ravens just kind of take care of business against a team who's not going to be firing on all cylinders to start the year.
All right, Kyle, I'll go to you. Week 1. Who do you like in this matchup?
Yeah, so before we get into the picks for me, I just want to go over some points on how I think the Ravens will do overall this season. And basically, the first thing is that I really like their new coach, Jesse Minter. When you got a guy like Harbaugh who's just stinking up the joint, I mean, you could tell from the reports late last season that they were just not into it at all. Like the whole team, you had that one girlfriend leaking shit of the D tackle. His girlfriend was going live saying Lamar hates John Harbaugh, all this kind of shit. So I think when you got stuff like that coming out of the building, then it's time for a change. And I think they knocked it out of the park with Jesse Minter because I don't know if you guys know, but he took a dog shit Chargers defense. Well, not dog shit, but they were top 5 last year. Anybody knows the Chargers knows that half their team's dead by week 6. So to have a top 5 defense is super impressive. And he's also buddies with Mike McDonald because they both came up with the Ravens. And we saw what Mike McDonald did last year. He won the Super Bowl. So I think the Ravens could have a similar bounce back year. And with that, I'll be taking the Colts. No, I'm just kidding. I'm taking the Ravens. Lamar PG is going to take this one easy.
Lamar PG.
Love that. I'm gonna go with the Ravens too. I feel like Lamar is such a week 1 darling. I remember when his first ever start, he put up 50 against I think it was the Dolphins in his first start. He just always seems to ball out in week 1, that's what it feels like. It was last year against Buffalo where Baltimore got up early in that game, and the Bills had that tremendous comeback late. So Lamar Jackson is a week 1 player. I think he and the offense, which I will say, they did not, in my opinion, really improve their offense. It still seems like the same group that they've been running out year after year. So I am curious to see how that might hold up late in the year. But to start, I do think that Baltimore is going to pick up a win. Like Kyle said, I do like what Jesse Minter might bring to them. It's a fresh voice. It's a new start for Baltimore. So I think they get off on the right foot with a win in Indianapolis. So we all Baltimore going 1-0, and then they come home for their opener against the New Orleans Saints. So Kyle, I'll start with you here. Ravens hosting the Saints week 2. Who do you like?
Yeah, so I alluded to the Saints maybe being a team that could be on the come up. However, the Ravens, I believe, are going to be one of the top dogs in the AFC because last year you had the Mickey Mouse, Broncos, and Patriots in the AFC Championship. I think this is the year the big dogs come back and eat. So I think this is the year the Ravens really solidify them. Well, they were already solidified as a top dog. I think this is where they reclaim their throne and beat the dog piss out of the Saints. 2-0.
All right, Kyle. Go strong in that one.
Wow.
All right. So I'll go to you, Saints and the Ravens.
So before I give my analysis here, I'm just trying to figure out, I can't tell if AI is lying to me, if Nelson Aguilar is on the Ravens roster.
He might
that's
be.
going to definitely sway my decision.
If he is, then they're 17-0.
I do not believe that is correct.
It says current team, number 15 for the Baltimore Ravens.
Is he on the depth chart?
He's not on the depth chart. He's not listed within
Oh,
the first
my God.
You'd like to change your pick for week 1.
These are going to be tough games for the Ravens.
I don't think he was on the team last season either.
How are they going to – it doesn't seem like it,
might
right?
be the last team he was on is probably why it's showing that.
Yeah, 2024.
Well, yeah, no wonder the team fell apart last year. Friggin' idiots.
Yeah.
All right.
So
that weighs heavy in my heart. Feels like we keep talking about the Saints as this team, and I keep saying it as well. The Saints could be the sleeper this year. They could be a sneaky good team. And I'm just going to repeatedly keep picking against them because I'm just talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm going to go with the Ravens here. I think they're just a flat-out better team. First game at home. It's going to be popping down in Baltimore. Guns won't be the only thing popping in Baltimore that weekend, so I'm going to take the Ravens.
Real. Okay.
Oh, I'd like to point out as well on the Saints, sneaky good in the NFC South is like 9-8. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
so I think
would have made him a playoff team this year.
Yeah,
the bar's at the floor.
All right. I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. I like the Saints very much, and if you listen to any of our NFC North games or predictions, I picked the Saints to go 4-0 against the NFC North. So I do need to, at some point, have the Saints dropping a game or two here. So that's part of the reason why I'm going to go with the Ravens here. But I do also just think that Baltimore has more talent. And at the end of the day, quarterback-wise, I would go in favor of Lamar every single time here. So if it's tight and he gets the ball late, I would trust that he can help put the team over the top. So I'm going to go with Baltimore here to continue with the trend. And Pat, I'll finish with you. Hosting the Saints in week 2, who do you like?
That's a great question. I mean, the Saints obviously have what I think is maybe, I know he had a great season last year. People are still talking about him, but maybe a really underrated young quarterback in Tyler Shuff. And I think he always performs to the level that you need him to perform to. Kyle looks like he's trying to laugh. I think is it Shuff? Shuck? Shuck? Tyler Shuck.
This Saints episode's going to be legendary.
This Saints episode's
I think I have them 0-5 right now.
Matt's about to have them 16-1.
Yeah.
I'm going to have them 16-1 by the end of this. With that being said, the Saints are still the Saints. I think they're lacking in a lot of skill positions. I'm just so hesitant. I really felt like I was hallucinating that the Ravens are slow starters because how can you be such a slow starter with such a great core of skill players? But then I looked at their record last year. Lost that barn burner to Buffalo to start the year, who Buffalo missed 3 2-point conversions in that game, which I realized and forgot about. But then they won 1 and then they lost the next 4. So it's tough, but I'm still going to take the Ravens over the Saints here. I think it's a bit of a tune-up game, but I don't know. Ravens might start dropping like flies in the next couple of weeks.
All right. All of Baltimore going 2-0 to start. Week 3, they host the Dallas Cowboys. So before I get into you NFC East, super fans over here, I'll make my pick. And I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys here. I like this matchup between the two. I think it'll be a high-scoring affair. I think both teams have the opportunity to put up a lot of points this season. I think last year we saw what Dallas was capable of offensively, and they brought back pretty much the same unit. So I would expect a lot of great things from them on that side of the ball. Their defense, they did make a lot of changes. I don't know if that necessarily will help them or not. Time will tell. But I think I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys to come into Baltimore in week 3 and bring an early upset. And then I will throw it over to Mason for his pick.
This might shock you. And I guess I'm high on the Cowboys this year because I also did this, I feel like, in one of our other episodes for the AFC North prediction. It just smells like a Cowboys win. It smells like one of those early season games where their fans are going to get so high and it's going to be their week 3 Super Bowl. And they just seem to get big wins against good teams early in the season and then crumble. And it kind of feels like the Ravens do the opposite. It feels like the Ravens every year have like a matchup against like the Bills or I don't know. And it feels like they drop one of those games. So yeah, I agree. Probably a high scoring affair, but I think this is a game that the regular season champ Cowboys always seem to get it done. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys there.
All right, Pat, I'll throw it over to you. You have Baltimore 2-0. Do they see their first loss?
I kind of have to, as much as it hurts me, as much as it pains me, I've got this one as a Cowboys win. And I'll tell you why. I think the Cowboys went 7-9-1 last year, even though I hate the Cowboys with my entire being. Their core is just too talented to do that again, to replicate a 7-9-1 season. So I do unfortunately think they're going to be back. Dak Prescott, I don't know how he does it, but he throws for like 1 billion yards every year. So I think that the Cowboys are going to get it done here. I think it's kind of the start of, the Ravens start this season a little bit hot, but then, they start to break down a little bit and start to underperform like in previous years. To me, this game is the Super Bowl for the overhyped, underperforming teams in the Ravens, the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, I don't know what time this game is played at, but they have an advantage since they're not playing in Jerry's world with the sun shining in their face. So I'm going to take the Cowboys for this game. Dak Prescott will probably have a good game. People will put him in the Jalen Hurts conversation again, and then he'll fall off the second half of the season like he always does.
All right, Kyle, over to you. Are we going to finish with a Cowboys sweep?
Hell no. Ravens are winning because, as Pat mentioned with the Saints game, the Ravens are notorious for starting out slow. That is specifically due to their defense. Their defense is generationally ass for about the first 8 weeks. And out of nowhere, they just start playing good. And then they start winning, and then they win the AFC North at like 10-7 because that division was also a fucking joke half the season. But with that being said, I think Jesse Minter is going to have those boys ready to play. He's going to say, listen, we're not doing geriatric John Harbaugh training camp. We're training like dogs. The Seahawks did the same thing last year, and they won a Super Bowl. So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to go out there like a bunch of wusses. We're going to play like dogs, and we're going to beat the shit out of the Cowboys for the Eagles. So that's all I have to say on that.
Wow.
All right, so Kyle has the Ravens undefeated through 3. We'll head to week 4. They will then host the Tennessee Titans. So 3 straight home games after the week 1 road game.
Can we just skip this one? 4 wins.
For the Titans?
Yeah, no, not for the Titans. Ravens sweep.
I have the Ravens in this one. Kyle has the Ravens.
I also have the Ravens.
Has the Ravens. And Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just send this.
I'll probably take the Ravens.
I don't know, Jim.
Titans. I'm honestly not really familiar with the Titans roster this year.
I'm actually higher on the Titans than I feel like you guys might think.
Who's the quarterback, Pat? Don't look it up.
I forget who it is.
There you go. That's good content.
Who's the Titans QB?
Cam Ward, #1 overall pick last year.
Yeah, Cam Ward. Well, Will Levis is also there. Can't forget about Will and Mitch Trubisky.
Will Levis does have a rocket.
Can you confirm that, Kyle?
No, that's what I heard. I watched tape, so.
Hendon Hooker, Tennessee legend.
I am interested in Cornell Tate, though. I think he could be legit this year.
I agree. I like that pickup a lot for them. I'm bigger on the Titans than I think most people, but I'm not going to have a win here. So, okay. We then head to week 5 on the road in Atlanta, a battle of the birds on Sunday Night Football. So, Pat, I'll start with you. Who do you like, Falcons, Ravens?
To me, the Falcons QB room is an utter mess right now. And I just think it's hard to pick in favor of a team that don't really have a quarterback. who can get it done right now. So I just am going to very simply pick the Ravens just because, unless the Falcons go out there and pick somebody up, unless Andrew Luck is interested in signing away from Stanford, I just have the Ravens here because I think that the Falcons are going to be a bottom of the barrel team this year, unfortunately.
All right, Mason, I'll go to you here. Ravens, Falcons.
Yeah, it feels like we've touched a lot on the Falcons at this point. They must have played the NFC North. Feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but I also agree that the Falcons' just quarterback situation is absolute dog shit. They don't have a quarterback. It's going to be a quarterback battle for whoever leads a losing team. There's going to be some NFC South schlop going on, and the Ravens are going to take care of business. Bijan signed himself into hell for the next however many years. Godspeed, and the Ravens are going to win this game.
I would like to issue a retraction. I forgot that the Falcons signed Cooper Rush. And so I will be changing my pick to the Falcons. Because if there's one thing Cooper Rush does, it's win when the odds are against him. So I will be changing. I forgot. Dude, I've always been a Cooper Rush guy. Watch the tapes.
Really?
It's tragic that he was a Cowboy, but man, was he good. So sure. I'm taking the
that might be the first time anyone's ever said that.
Dude, let me tell you.
Not on this podcast, I'm sure.
I've said it before.
I think I can vouch for that. Okay. Kyle, Ravens.
Did you have him in your top 10?
At some point, I think I did.
Wow. Oh, that's something. But yeah, the Falcons are interesting because they have really good offensive pieces in Drake London and Bijan. And then they got good young defensive pieces as well. However, their quarterback room is a total unmitigated disaster. It's like having a Ferrari with no engine. So basically, I think they're going to get whooped again. Is turn the ball over or Penix going to be back by week 5 or whatever?
I would imagine they're both ready for week 1.
What is it in their problem? I just saw both dead.
Well, they both always have injuries. So Tua had an injury flare-up from his ACL injury.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's always reassuring.
And then Michael Penix. Okay, so Penix is rehabbing from the ACL. Tua had an injury flare-up, but it's not long-term. So as it looks right now, it's Tua's back. I think Tua is probably their week 1 starter.
Nice. So we're getting a fucking Tua pastrami on rye week 5, probably 4 of them. But yeah, what was I even gonna say? I had some cooked up. Oh yeah. So I thought maybe there was a James Harden situation going down, and maybe Lamar in the ATL gets a little distracted. So I did some research, aka I just looked up, does Lamar Jackson like strip clubs? And unless Google AI is lying to me, Lamar dislikes going out and feels out of place. So I think at strip clubs. So I think he's good. No distractions. The corpse of Tua turn the ball over is not gonna beat the Ravens, and the Ravens are starting 5-0.
That is crazy.
Dude, the AI insider of the year, fucking Google.
I'm gonna find out.
No.
That is you can't get this analysis anywhere else. So this would be a great time for an ad break if we had those.
My sources tell me Lamar hates strip clubs.
So no James Harden for Lamar.
All right. So,
unless they got those lemon pepper wings. We're in trouble.
Lamar reminds me of Kevin Durant. Both of them, you know what? We'll leave it.
For the love of the game.
Love of the game. KD be dribbling in the strip club, doing fake faders.
For the love of the game.
Lamar is 1-0 in Atlanta, by the way.
Oh well, yeah. I think isn't he from Georgia?
He went to
I don't know, but he's only played 1 game there, and it was a playoff game.
Well, he would not have played a playoff game in Atlanta.
Oh, never mind. It was not a playoff game. I read it wrong.
All right, week 6, the Browns will then host the Ravens. in a regular 1 o'clock matchup. Mason, I'll start with you here. Do the Browns get a win in a division matchup with Baltimore?
Yeah, don't really think it's happening for the Brownies this year. I do like, I do like some of the moves that they've been making for sure, and I feel like maybe they're finally moving in the right direction. We've said that about 10 times in our lifetime, but maybe this time it'll be for real. But this year, I just do not see them putting it all together. So I'm going to go with the Ravens, take care of business.
All right, I'm going to do the same. I don't have much faith for Cleveland this year, as like most years, but that'll bring my record for the Ravens up to 5-1. Pat, I'll go to you. You have them coming off a loss to the Falcons. You're at 3-2. Do they get a win over the Browns?
Yeah, Pat. Who do you think the Browns QB should be?
I don't really know at this point. I actually saw the report from training camp today that Deshaun Watson threw 7 touchdowns.
Oh, so you think he should be the starter?
I don't think that.
Why?
I don't. Because there's a whole competition for that QB room. It's yet to see who's going to start there.
Really, because I can think of 23 reasons why he shouldn't be.
And with
what's
that
number
being
15?
Said,
huh? It's 15.
I said no. What's number 15?
Victim number 15.
Okay. Well, there you go. So, Pat, Browns, Ravens.
With that being said, I'm going to take the Ravens here because there's a lot of the same thing. The Ravens play back-to-back teams with probably the most questionable QB situations in the NFL right now in terms of knowing who the starter is going to be. I mean, the only cherry on top would be if they played the Vikings the next week. And then they'd have probably like the 3 most unstable quarterback situations in the league. Am I crazy? I think
Cardinals.
Maybe the Cardinals would be the only other one.
Their backup QB is holding out for more money.
Jacoby Brissett. Where do you go to school?
NC
State University. Yep. Anyway, I'm going to take the Ravens in this one.
His ass.
All right, Kyle, are you going to complete the sweep? Ravens at Browns.
See, I've talked a lot of gas on Jesse Minter. However, there's one thing that the Ravens will always do, and it's lose to the Browns in mind-bogglingly bad fashion every season. So with that, I'm taking the Browns.
Wow.
No logic. Just I remember that game last year where they lost to the Browns. That was some of the most insane shit I've ever seen. So I think it's going to happen again.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Division matchup. You never know. Okay. Week 7, they host the Cincinnati Bengals. Is Joe Burrow still on the field for this? We'll find out in week 7. Pat, I'll start with you. Hosting the Bengals, who do you like?
Division matchup, right? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Division matchup of the NFC North.
Oh,
AFC North.
So close.
Division matchup. Joe Burrow, TBD. I think on paper, when you compare the skill positions, I think the Ravens have a slight edge in this one. But I'm going to take the Bengals because, again, I have the Ravens currently sitting at 4-2. I don't see like them. I think that they're not going to have a very consistent season. Like Kyle, like you all have them at 5-1 right now. I think that the tides could easily turn and they could be 4-3. It doesn't seem like much of a difference when you say it that way. But I just feel like the Bengals are going to pull through. I feel like they always like win those divisional matchups. And I think if Joe Burrow's playing, like he's just going to be Joe Burrow and just going to have the aura and be clutch. And I'm going to pick the Bengals.
All right, I'm gonna follow with you on that. I'm very high on the Bengals this year. I feel like I typically fall high on Cincinnati, but I really like what they did with their defense. They went out and they got playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. The Dexter Lawrence trade, in my opinion, for their first round pick was a great trade, something that they needed to do. You get a guaranteed unit on your defensive line rather than take a gamble with the draft pick. We saw what happened the previous year in the first round. Where they ended up not signing their first round pick for months and months after the draft had been completed. So I like that Baltimore. I like that Cincinnati went out there and made these big moves. I think it'll be a good matchup with Baltimore. But for the sake of week 7, I'm going to go with Cincinnati in this one. Kyle, go to you. You have them losing to the Browns the week prior. Do they escape Ohio 1-1? Well, it's not in Ohio, but Ohio teams, or do they drop to 0-2 against the Ohio clubs?
See, I think post Browns loss, they're going to be like, "Oh shit, that was horrible." So I think from there they lock in. I think Joe Burrow, 2-time comeback player of the year, will be on the field going for his 3rd title, and I think he'll do well. But I think ultimately the Ravens edge out a win, and also, I'm not as big of a fan of the Ravens' skill position players as Pat seems to be, because you have 3,000-year-old Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, who anyone who's ever had him in fantasy knows, holy shit, bro. And then outside of that, who the hell do they have?
No Nelly.
No Nelson Aguilar. No Isaiah
No.
Likely. You got Butterfingers, Mark Andrews, and that's it. So I'm still high on the Ravens, but Lamar's going to have to do some heavy lifting.
All right, Mason, I'll finish with you. Bengals Ravens week 7.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bengals here. I think these teams probably split as long as Joe Burrow can remain somewhat healthy. And it's probably got better odds of being healthy in week 7 than week 17. So,
I think that's
unless he gets injured in week 1 and then is back, but we'll see about that. So I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Comeback player of the year.
All right, week 8, they had the Buffaloes to take on the Bills. We referenced the week 1 matchup from a season prior. Bills Ravens always seem to run into each other. I know they match up in the playoffs a couple times. Lamar, Josh Allen, same draft class. A lot of storylines ahead into matchups like this. It's in Buffalo. It's week 8, and I'm going to go with the Bills in this one. Shocker, I know. I think Buffalo is going to be great yet again. I really like what they did this offseason. I think the DJ addition was huge for them, and I think it was a great deal with a second-round value. It's just hard to see Josh Allen not having a 12-win team and not finding himself in the playoffs and not finding himself in the race for the AFC East. So it just feels like every time that these two teams match up, Buffalo figures it out, and I think they'll do it again. So I'm going to have the Ravens drop a 2nd straight game here against the Buffalo Bills. Pat, I'll go to you. Bills hosting the Ravens in week 8.
Yeah, I think plain and simple, there might be no place scarier in the NFL to play than in Buffalo. I mean, you have one of the most passionate fan bases in the league. I would say maybe it takes second to the beautiful city of Philadelphia. I think the Bills at this point will be a pretty well-oiled machine. We see them in great midseason form. The players are performing. I think they have one of the most powerful offenses in the NFL. I predict this will be a pretty high-scoring game, but have to give the Bills the edge here because they're the home team, and it's really, really tough to play in Buffalo. Josh Allen, and 2, it's the middle of the season. Josh Allen hasn't gotten scared of the playoffs yet. So he'll play probably normal and good.
MVP candidate, yeah.
MVP candidate. He's got, 9 more weeks to mess it up. So I think the Bills in this matchup are just going to have the more high-powered offense. So.
All right, Kyle, I will go to you. You have the Ravens coming up for a win. Who do you like in this matchup with Buffalo?
So, yeah, I agree with everything that was said so far. I think the Bills, for the first time in what feels like a long time, they actually went out and added a piece to their offense, because it feels like every year they kind of just roll with Josh Allen and the brigade at wide receiver. They never really make any real effort to add anything. So them adding DJ Moore was huge. And ultimately what I think this comes down to is, can James Cook carry the offense? Because I remember there was some beautiful slander going around last season about James Cook's stats and if they won or not. And it was like, if James Cook got under 80 yards, they wouldn't win. And James Cook is still getting disrespected by his own teammates. They're saying, oh, yeah, we got DJ Moore. Now Josh doesn't have to carry it by himself. If I'm James Cook, I'd be like, what the hell, man? I'm the one doing the fucking carrying. Freaking ungrateful little, what's. But anyway, I think they win still, because I think this could go either way. And I think Josh Allen, even though he doesn't have that fire in him since he got married and had a kid, now he cares about things other than football. I think that might also give him some dad strength, and he'll run over some of the Well, he does that anyway. So I'm going to take the Bills.
All right, Mason, clean sweep with Buffalo, or do the Ravens get a big win on the road?
Quite literally a coin toss. So I'm going to flip a coin. We're going to go with the Ravens.
All right.
There we go. Boom.
Yeah, I don't. Dynamite stuff for me. I know it's literally a coin flip game in my mind. These are two juggernauts that seem to play each other a lot. Probably familiar with each other. I know different personnel, different coaching, but it kind of feels like a rivalry a little bit, even though they're not the same. I mean, same conference, not same division. I don't know. They're coming off a loss against the Bengals, so maybe they like Kyle was saying when he had the Browns winning that matchup. Maybe they lock in a little bit. So I'll go with the Ravens.
Also, I want to refer back to when I had a theory about having a hot wife and being a bad NFL QB. I'd like to change that a little bit now since we have more data. I think Josh Allen is all right by my theory because he keeps it separate. However, Justin Herbert, there's no way the Chargers win more than 8 games because that looked like some middle school shit, what he did. Like, if I was a lineman and I saw my QB getting all lovey-dovey with his freaking wife, like her brushing his hair or whatever, I would let the first play of the season, I'm letting the guy sack him. You gotta lock in, bro. So I think
you stole my analysis for 2 weeks from now.
Wait, they play the Chargers?
Yeah, they play the Chargers in
my bad.
I
was thinking because I'm like, yeah, Josh Allen, he's got a family, he's got an actress wife. I was like, all right, I gotta change this a little bit because no, there's levels to this shit, and Justin Herbert's on the lowest level. But we'll get to that.
Before we get to the Chargers, they play the Jags at home on Thursday Night Football.
That's a good one.
Some prime time matchups coming up here. Kyle, I'll stick with you. Who do you like between the Ravens and the Jags?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty high on the Jags last season. I thought they were pretty sweet. Well, not at the start, but over their defense matured, and they are actually pretty solid. And then Trevor Lawrence actually kind of looked like the part for the first time in like ever. So I think year 2 under Liam Cohen, I think a lot of good stuff was built on. I think they keep building, and I think this is going to be a game that's going to be pretty much as exciting as the last game was for the Ravens. However, this time I think they come out on top.
All right, Kyle, going with Baltimore on Thursday night. Mason, I'll go to you. You have the Ravens beating the Bills. Big matchup for them. Who do you like in this one and why?
Yeah, so because of that, kind of playing off the wins and losses that the Ravens are getting. So I think with these 2 games, the Bills and the Jags, they probably split. 2 very good teams back to back. I'm also very high on the Jags. I loved them last year, and I think year 2 of Liam Cohen, I think they're probably just going to be around the same or maybe a little bit better. Maybe the record doesn't reflect that. I think they end up with 13 wins last year.
I think 12-5 was their record.
12, yeah. 13.
So I mean, depending on how the schedule shapes up for them, obviously we haven't gotten to that. Maybe they're 1 win less, but I think still a really solid team and maybe actually performing better metrics wise. But yeah, so I had the Ravens win a big game against the Bills last week, so I'm going to go with the Jags in this one.
All right. I'm going to go with the Ravens and kind of the same logic as you, but reverse. I had them losing to Buffalo. I think they bounced back because of that. In my prediction, they would be on back-to-back losses, so I do like Baltimore to bounce back. Thursday night favors the home team more often than not. I do think this is going to be a really fun game. 2 really good teams, but I'll give the slight edge to Baltimore for being home on Thursday night. Pat, I'll finish with you. You have the Ravens at 500 heading into this game. A little bit different than what we have going on.
The Lion.
Do they get back above 500 or do they dip below?
The Lion does not concern himself with lost streaks.
So, everything in my heart, every fiber of my being would like to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars here. However, with that being said, I'm going to have to go with the Ravens. The Jaguars, they had an incredible season last season. I didn't believe in them from the start. I certainly would not have picked them in the top 5, even top 10 teams last year. You can call me a non-ball knower, but I don't know ball.
That was fair. Lawrence looked horrible season before.
Right? So, last season was incredible. I think they're going to be riding the high. I think they're going to be riding good vibes. I wish nothing but the best for them. But, you lose a huge piece in Travis Etienne, and, he accounted for 1,000 rushing yards last year on your team. And now you have Baishal Tutin, who I'm sure is a great back, but a young back. And you look at the depth of that offense, and, you see Parker Washington, Penn State, he had a great season, but he didn't eclipse 1,000 receiving yards last year. You've got Jacoby Myers, NC State legend, who is a little bit older, more experienced in that offense. And obviously you have Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, two stars. But I just think that the Jags, I don't know if they're real this year. When you lose such a big piece like that, I think they're going to have a lot to prove. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. I just think the experience and is going to put them over the top in this one.
Pat, that was a master class in pronunciation.
Thank you. I said it right?
Yeah, and then Baishal, I was like, wow, this guy's on one.
Come on, dude. I know my running backs.
I just looked this up. Did they switch what they said on Travis Hunter too? Weren't they only going to make him a cornerback, but now he's
but then he said, I don't want to come off the sidelines. So I don't think anybody knows really.
Yeah,
I think they're just going to go on vibes.
Be a primary corner, but we'll see how they
especially with how loaded their receiver room is, because Parker Washington actually had a solid season last year.
They all
wide receiver 4.
So. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. We'll have to see what they do with Travis. All right, Kyle, back to the Chargers.
Yeah,
Monday Night Football the following week. You made your feelings known on Justin Herbert and his.
Yeah, I'm going to expand on that, actually.
Go right ahead.
So I actually already mentioned this, but if I saw my quarterback, Jalen Hurts, doing some stuff like that on the sideline before he even won a playoff game, maybe Herbert's won one. I have no idea. It's been like 7 years. Oh, yeah, never won. See? If he didn't even win a playoff game and he's doing that stuff at training camp, man, WIP would be electric. Oh, man, that would have been sweet. So, actually, maybe I wish he did do that because that would have been awesome. But, yeah, I think I'm not going to – you know what? Actually, he ain't locked in because – so, with that, I don't think any other analysis needs to be done. Basically, I think Justin Herbert's lack of locked-inness will supersede – Mike McDaniel's offense, because that is sweet. And I think in the end, you're not beating Lamar PG with a guy stuck in a middle school love phase. So with that being said, I'm taking the Ravens.
All right, that was beautiful.
You will not get that anywhere else.
You will not. That is exclusive.
Put me on ESPN. Put us all on ESPN.
It will be on ESPN. It's Monday Night Football. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I hear what you're saying about Herbert and not being locked in, but I do really like Mike McDaniel to be his offensive coordinator. I think the Chargers defense was a top 3 unit last year, and I feel like that's going to carry over to this season. I know that Minter left to take the Ravens.
Where'd he go? Yeah,
I get that. So he'll know the defense a little bit. There will be familiarity here. I just feel like I have to go with the Chargers here. I think I like the Chargers more put together than Baltimore at this point. So
that's
I'm gonna go with the Chargers get a win in Baltimore Monday night. Mason, I'll go to you. Kind of have some flip flop going back and forth with the Ravens. Who do you like in this matchup with the Chargers on Monday night?
Yeah, I feel like based on how my schedule has played out so far, I just kind of have to pick the Ravens. I put myself into a corner. I mean, if this schedule is right on here, this is back-to-back primetime games for the Ravens, right? So, yeah, they're not losing both of those, and I just picked the Jags. So we're just going to have to go with the Ravens here. I also agree with Kyle's analysis, absolute dynamite. Maybe Baltimore can get Madison Beer for the halftime show or something.
Yeah, you know what else is dynamite? His girlfriend. But we're not talking – we're talking different kind of ball here, and that doesn't help on the football field.
So, yeah, I'll go with the Ravens.
Pat, I'll finish with you. Ravens, Chargers.
Kyle's doing his Moneyball impression right now. It's insane. So I am going to I have to disagree. I don't think the Chargers are as put together of a team as you think they are. I don't think that they're more put together than the Ravens at this point in time. And I don't think Justin Herbert's a winner, man. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. I just think that Every
He wins in
year,
some aspects.
every year we give Justin Herbert the benefit of the doubt. Like I know he's the what if guy, but every year we give him the benefit of the doubt, and every year he lets us down. Like I'm trying to think of another player who falls into this category, and it's just like he's Justin Herbert, man. Like he's gonna lose this game.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
You also like the Chargers win a lot of games every year too. It's not like they
Did
go
they fix up their offensive line at all?
I mean, they got guys healthy heading into
He
the
had
year.
32nd ranked. I'll give him one thing. He had a 32nd ranked offensive line and made the playoffs. So that deserves some praise. However, that is offset by factors I have thoroughly discussed already. So
The Chargers have won 9 or more games in 4 of the last 5 seasons. Like he wins a lot of games. So
That's above. You're talking
not a lot of
above
games that
500.
No, he doesn't win games that matter. He's never won in the playoffs. But he's a regular season quarterback, and he picks
Monday
up.
Night Football, he's not showing up under the lights, man.
All right, I'm still taking the Chargers. Week 11, they head to Carolina on the Panthers. We've talked at length about the NFC South. We gave a lot of predictions because they're playing the NFC North. I'm going to go with the Ravens here to bounce back. I'm not very high on the Panthers, so I feel like it's a very simple win. And for me, coming off a loss on a short week, I think they get back and beat Carolina. Pat, you were a former Carolina resident. Ravens and the Panthers, did you like them?
Still technically a Carolina resident, which I have to get fixed. I'm going with my home team. I'm going with the Carolina Panthers. Bank of America Stadium is going to be rocking. Bryce Young always gets it done randomly. He beats one really stellar opponent every year, and it's going to be the Ravens.
Done randomly.
It's going to be the Ravens this year.
Okay.
The Panthers are winning.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I think the Panthers are pretty booty and gonna be in some NFC South shenanigans. So Ravens are gonna take care of business.
All right, Kyle, shut off. Ravens, Panthers.
yeah, man, this is actually a little bit of a tough one because the Panthers are the epitome of the NFC South. They had the Rams on the ropes last season in the playoffs. And then, as Pat said, sometimes Bryce Young will go ballistic. He'll throw for 470 yards one game, and then the next game he throws for 100. So who the hell knows what they're going to do this week? I think the Ravens probably win this one. However, this is not a slam dunk win. I think Bryce Young will lock in. He'll forget he's 5'10" and can't see over his own line, and they're going to make it close. Jalen Coker is going to have a huge.
Still with this girl.
Yeah, that was a rough time. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Bro got benched and the guy's girl stolen by an NBA player in the same week. Then Rod Wave reached out, gave him some advice, and then he locked in and won the job back. So, I mean, everything comes full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah, so I'm taking the Ravens.
Nobody else has. This is great.
Can't see this on ESPN.
No, you cannot. All right, week 12, they head to Houston to take on the Texans. Kyle, I'll stick with you here. Texans hosting the Ravens.
Yeah, that Texans defense is insane, scary. Like I would not want to play them, dude. They are a bunch of savages. They have crazy D-line rushing. They got Daniil Hunter on one side, Will Anderson Jr. on the other side, and they have solid D tackles. And then even if you do manage to avoid them, they probably have one of, if not the best secondaries in the league. So then you're kind of screwed either way. However, we have not – or I'm the first one to talk. But I haven't mentioned C.J. Stroud because he has looked like a bum for 2 seasons. First season he was good, and then after that it's kind of like, what are we doing here, pal? So I think if he's even slightly below average, they're going to win a lot of games. And I think this is the kind of game that the Ravens are going to lose just because that defense is going to give them headaches. They'll probably be able to shut down Henry, and then – if they can contain Lamar, I think it's going to be a rough night. And I think the Texans win this one.
All right, Pat, I'll go to you. Texans host the Ravens.
I'm feeling the same way. That Texans defense is something different. I think that the Ravens rely on a lot of firepower to perform and win games. They're very similar to Lions in that respect. And so I think that the Texans D is going to figure out how to stop the Ravens. And maybe the Ravens are looking ever too eagerly towards the bye week. And, I'll take the Texans in this one.
All right, Mason to finish. Texans, Ravens.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said at this point. Texans defense is terrifying. Feels like a game where they're going to start to bottle up the offense. Lamar's going to improvise, maybe a couple turnovers. Yeah. I think if CJ Stroud can be half of the quarterback that he was his rookie year, the Texans would be very, very good this year.
All right, so then we're going to head into a Week 13 bye. I have the Ravens at 7-5. Mason has them at 8-4. Kyle at 9-3. Pat at 6-6. So we're all pretty spread across the spectrum here, but we still all feel like the Ravens will be a solid team. Week 14, they host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm going to give the Ravens a win out of the bye. I like the idea of being able to prepare for Tampa coming out of the bye. Weird situation going on with the whole Baker Mayfield contract. I don't think that lingers into the season, but I do think it kind of sets the tone for them a little bit. Tampa probably is the most talented team in that division, but NFC South shenanigans plus I don't know. I feel like Tampa Bay might be kind of on the decline here. Would not be shocked to see if this is the Todd Bowles' last season as head coach. It just feels like an interesting situation brewing down there. So I'm going to go with the Ravens here to pick up another win coming off the bye. Mason, I'll go to you here. You have them lose to the Texans heading into the bye as well. Who do you like in this matchup with Tampa?
It does feel like every year the Ravens maybe start a little shaky and then just absolutely lock the fuck in. So I'm going to go with a win here against the Bucs. And looking ahead here, I see a lot of wins stacking at the end. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know. The Bucs kind of lost that. Wait, is that at home? Never mind. That was at. So yeah, I was gonna say if it was at Bucs, they kind of lose the advantage of the heat this late in the season. But it is in Baltimore. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Ravens are probably just a better team in general, and their offense is probably going to move a little better at home compared to the Bucs and the Colts. So I'll go with the Ravens here.
All right, Kyle, go to you. 9-3, out the bye. Who do you like?
Yeah, so you kind of alluded to it already. The Bucs are kind of teetering on the brink of total chaos. So Baker is already squawking about his contract. You lost Mike Evans in the offseason. Granted, you get Chris Godwin back. Rod God, it's his real name, by the way. Yeah, so you get Chris Godwin back. He's fully healthy after, I think it was ankle 2 years ago. It totally derailed last season. And then you also have Emeka Ibuka as well. So hopefully you can sort of fill the void of Mike Evans. And then also you have Bucky Irving, the GOAT, fantasy monster. But then you also have the defense, and Vita Vea literally requested a trade. He just requested a trade, and then nothing else has been said. So who knows if he's even on the team. If he is on the team, he's probably not going to be too thrilled. So I think overall they're kind of just this weird underlying dysfunction that might lead to Todd Bowles getting canned, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you talk to. But I'm going to take the Ravens because I think they're going to be a solid unit. They're going to be working as one, whereas the Bucs might be trying to pull the cart in 3 different directions. So I think that alone gives them the win.
All right, Pat, to finish. Ravens, Bucs.
Yeah, I thought I was being a little bit delusional because I always thought of the Bucs as a team that starts slow and finishes very strong. But then I looked at their record last year and I saw that they lost to some really bad opponents to end the season. Miami, Carolina, Atlanta, and New Orleans was a 4-game stretch of just straight losses, which I didn't realize. They have one win. They have one win in that 8-game stretch, and it's against the Cardinals. They lost to the powerhouse teams, the Rams, the Bills, New England last year. But I wasn't crazy because 2 years prior, they did win out like 5 of their last 6 games or something crazy. So I think they're going to return to form. I think they'll have figured out all of that weird underlying stuff by this point. I think Baker Mayfield is a player who performs in games against really strong opponents, as is evidenced by what we just talked about. So I'll take the Bucs here. Going to be a cold one though.
Week 14, yeah. All right, Week 15, the Ravens head on to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers for the first time this season. And it's all the way to Week 15. I don't feel very good about the Steelers odds this year. I know I do this thing every year where I say this is going to be the final of the year. Mike Thomas is no longer there, so I feel even better about it. Awful year coming up for the Steelers. Sorry, Steelers fans. I'm going Baltimore here. And Pat, I'll throw it back over to you to swing it around.
Yeah, I have about the same reasoning. I think the Baltimore Ravens are just a better football team than the Steelers. I don't have very high hopes for the Steelers, but Howie will make a move at the deadline for Peyton Wilson, linebacker from the Steelers, for our Super Bowl run.
Yeah, say that for you. Kyle, go to you. Ravens at Steelers.
So yeah, Steelers are interesting because they're kind of finally fired Mike Tomlin, and that seems to suggest that they're ready to go below 500 for the first time in 2 decades. So I think, with that being said, I don't think they expect to win much, and that's further proved by the fact they hired Mike McCarthy. Now you might be asking why they hire Mike McCarthy. He grew up a Steelers fan, so basically they had a Make-A-Wish hire as a coach to basically guide them to 4-13. So I think the Ravens win this one easily. I don't know if 45-year-old Aaron Rodgers is going to win the game for you. So I think I'm just going to take the Ravens. However, it would be funny if Aaron Rodgers did make the Super Bowl, because I saw some reports say that ESPN was scared of that happening because it would be hard to control him in media days. So I think that would be awesome. I think he should be a guest anyway, but if the Steelers make it, that would be electric. But I'm taking the Ravens.
All right, Mason to finish. Steelers. Ravens.
Yeah, so I was going to say, it's God-given that every year these teams split, but you are right with the departure of Mike Tomlin. It's kind of hard to justify that, and the Steelers are probably going to be pretty bad this year, so I'm just going to go with the Ravens to take care of business. Maybe this is finally the year the curse is lifted and the Ravens can actually sweep the Steelers.
Yeah, first time it won't be Harbaugh and Tomlin in a Ravens-Steelers game, so that's interesting. Week 16, they go to Cleveland to play. Oh, wait, scratch that. I have at Browns twice. Hold up here. Ravens schedule.
Comms.
The Ravens are home, I think. Yes, all right. The Ravens are home, hosting the Browns, not at the Browns. Week 16, I'm going to go with Baltimore to pick up another win here. I think they sweep the Browns. Cleveland's going to be fighting for the number 1 pick, so I don't see much there. Kyle, I'll go to you. Ravens hosting the Browns, rather.
Yeah, I think by this point they've gotten all the Browns stigma out of their minds, and I think they take this one pretty easily. And the boys are now rolling.
All right, Pat, I'll go to you. 7-7, you have the Ravens. Do they beat the Browns at home?
Again, I think the Browns still in a very questionable spot. I think the Ravens are going to kind of rule that division.
And Mason to finish. Do we get a sweep?
Yep, bring out the brooms. The Browns are dog shit, and the Ravens are going to take care of business. And like I said a few games ago against the Bucs, the Ravens just always seem to catch fire at the end of the season, and I think they're going to be win a lot of games here at the end.
All right, 2 weeks to go. I have Baltimore at 10-5, Mason 11-4, Kyle 12-3, Pat 8-7. So at the Bengals on Thursday Night Football, likely division on the line maybe between these two teams. Pat, I'll start with you. Ravens at the Bengals. Who do you like?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say at this point in the year we don't know who will be starting for the Cincinnati Bengals. It could be the second string or the third string. So I'm going to take the Ravens in this matchup. I think they're going to split overall. I just personally think, like Mason alluded to earlier in our discussion, I think that the question mark surrounding the health of the Cincinnati Bengals just have to lead you towards the Ravens here late in the season.
Okay, Mason, I'll go to you. Ravens at Bengals Thursday night.
Yep, I predicted the split earlier when we did the first matchup. I think the Bengals, so I'm going to go with the Ravens.
All right, Kyle, over to you.
Yeah, I think Pat made a good point. Who knows who the Bengals are going to be starting? I still think it's going to be Joe Burrow, but I still think the Ravens take this one home.
All right, and I'm going to finish this. I have the Bengals winning on Thursday Night Football. I think that they sweep the Ravens this season in a little bit of comeback fashion. So I like the fact that the Bengals get the benefit late in the season, Thursday Night Football at home. So I'm going to have them in a big matchup. Like I said, could be for the division really at this point. So I have the Bengals picking up a win. So heading into the last week, I have Baltimore at 11-5, Mason 12-4, Kyle 13-3, Pat 9-7. Pat, I'll go to you here. Do they beat the Steelers at home to finish the season?
Yeah. Steelers are awful, man. I know that the vibe is they always split with the Steelers, but like you guys said, I think that magic is gone. It's kind of disappeared. I think the Ravens will finally do it. And if you look at the recent matchup history, the Ravens have had a lot of success. I think against the Steelers. I might be wrong about that, but
all right, Mason, to finish, do you have them beating the Steelers at home?
So I guess the question in my head is at 12-4 here, do the Ravens still have something to play for? I guess it comes down to how good I think the Bengals are going to do and how the seeding works out. If they're playing for like a bye, which probably not. I go with the Ravens. Feel like the Ravens backup. I mean, they just re-signed Demon Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley, so that's probably going to be enough to get it.
Demon home.
Probably enough to get it done against the Steelers either way. So go with the Ravens to close it out.
All right, Kyle will finish. Ravens, Steelers.
Give me the Ravens.
Whew.
Damn.
14-3.
Kyle has the Ravens at 14-3. Mason at 13-4. I have them at 12-5. Pat at 10-7. So we all have double-digit wins for Baltimore this season. So make sure to check out the rest of our AFC North predictions in the following episodes. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good one.